The jungles and the forests around us hide many secrets, most notably animals, cryptids, legends and monsters concealed from the prying eyes of us humans. The sweeping jungle canopy presents the perfect disguise for many life forms to remain entirely undetected, though some reveal themselves enough to land on researchers' radars. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysterious jungle and forest discoveries. Rock apes encountered during the Vietnam War. Wars generally subject the public to many horrors, unthinkable and dangerous terrors. Though one potentially unforeseen problem and fear of the Vietnam War were the alleged rock apes, a flightly cryptid hiding within the jungles. These rock apes, or rather Batutat when translated into Vietnamese, have been recorded plenty of times, most notably witnessed throughout the Vietnam War, and yet we rarely hear of them, at least not when we draw a comparison with our beloved Scottish Nessie or the Himalayan Yeti, who've been the focus of cryptid conversations now for centuries. Dubbed Monkey Mountain, one particular spot, a hill in Vietnam, appears to have attracted the eagle-eyed, curious individuals who witnessed these creatures throughout the duration of the war. Peculiarly, those who frequented Monkey Mountain began to expect to see or encounter these strange animals. Though, despite tourists being well equipped ever since, and soldiers having been keeping a keen eye out, we're yet to receive photographic confirmation of their existence. Perhaps just as puzzling, we've never found bodies or corpses of the creature, yet there's little discrepancy between the descriptions given. This calls for some more research into this truly unusual phenomenon. The name rock apes was coined due to the reputation quickly built that when soldiers would throw rocks at these creatures, they would throw them back. Perhaps more terrifyingly, the same was true of wartime grenades. Regarding their appearance physically, these creatures are described as a staggering 6 foot tall, with a strong build and understandably an intimidating threat to humans. Further characterized through their large bellies, unproportionately long limbs, and hair ranging from brown to reddish-brown in colour, the rock apes hold a distinctive appearance to someone who knows what or who they are looking for. Those who have been fortunate, or you might argue unfortunate, enough to encounter these creatures have reported seeing more than one, leading many to believe the rock apes had a preference to live in groups, and stay localized entirely to the jungle, living in relative peace, away from human civilization, at least up until the breakout of the Vietnam War. A rather alarming and concerning trait here is these creatures do not appear to fear humans, being seen so many times within such close proximity to the wartime events. Following the descriptions that began to flood in resembling the one above, the vast majority of reports were dismissed, with the plausible explanation being presented that perhaps wartime horrors had had a devastating impact upon soldiers' cognitive abilities, and their minds were simply giving an exaggerative, hyperbolic description of an orangutan, or more accurately, a group of them. Whilst this certainly sounds more logical than the far more thrilling cryptid explanation, Vietnam's orangutan population has been extinct for centuries upon centuries, limiting this as an explanation. Further holes in the explanation are the behavioural characteristics describing these rock apes as highly social, despite the classic solo style we often see with orangutans. Another attempt to explain away these speculations, aiming to put the science in the theory, is the idea that these rock apes were simply northern white-cheeked gibbons. These gibbons, native to Vietnam and social monkeys, might pose a more accurate guess, though their size is decidedly inaccurate, with the standard 3-foot gibbon not being comparable to the 6-foot rock ape. In 1970, Professor Vo Q of Vietnam National University conducted an unsuccessful experiment. Further, a different research was conducted in 1974, when a mission aiming to capture a rock ape, or at least stumble upon sufficient hard, indisputable evidence of its existence. This was a completely unsuccessful expedition. The crew returned with no new information or sightings of the rock apes. A perhaps less exciting explanation is that the rock ape sightings may have been influenced by the medication many soldiers used throughout the wartime. Without definitive, falsifiable evidence of this creature, we cannot confirm that we've unveiled a new species, though current research does indicate as much. We don't know much about these creatures housed in our jungles, but we hope our research, as well as current and future discoveries, will continue to teach us about our world. El Tunche. The legend of the Tunche has haunted generations of Peruvian families. Originally presented as a guardian and protector of the forest, the evolution of this legend has resulted in fear, as it grew into a symbol of loss of life. El Tunche will be a familiar name to many who grew up in Peru, often taking one of two forms in the legends told. One spirit was described as the souls of those who recently departed, trapped walking in their same steps over and over. You would know of these spirits' presence through a long, muffled sound. All that is required if you were ever to encounter one is to leave their path uninterrupted, move out of their way, and remain respectful. Never speak ill of them. If these rules are adhered to, then you would never encounter any harm. If you fail to do so with these first spirits, they may visit you in your dreams, haunting you for the lack of respect. The second legendary tale has been popularized and been portrayed as demonic and fearsome over the years, representing a sinister intent, despite initial legends detailing a spirit sent to protect our forests and jungles. Characterized by a short and persistent whistle announcing his presence, this Tunche required respect of himself, his signature sound, and the forests. The Tunche is described as a violent and cruel man, and therefore a soul unable to ever find peace. Unlike the relatively harmless counterpart, this interpretation of the legend has had many disappear or pass away, having mimicked, imitated, or poked fun at this spirit. Few who have encountered it have survived, though those who have often find the faces of their friends and family unrecognizable and meaningless. Feelings described by those who have experienced his presence are ones of dread. The fear invoked through just this whistle is a terrifying feat in itself, for everyone knows not to make it themselves. Many avoid wandering into the depths of the forest out of respect, fear, and safety, taking these precautions in order to avoid becoming part of this folklore. So, as the years have progressed, why has its image become quite so evil? Some point fingers to the pop culture focus on horror, demonizing and making these cultural legends mainstream sources of entertainment. Others suggest that the need to care for and guard our forests have increased, with a surge in deforestation and a general lack of respect for nature. Craterokiridon, the Triassic mystery creature. Today, dinosaurs play a huge role in the planet's history, but by the Triassic era, they were old news. The stars of the show were the rather bizarre, unexplained creatures who we've let hide in the shadows of dinosaurs for centuries. One of these creatures is the Craterokiridon. To this day, we don't have the understanding to what the Craterokiridon exactly is, with fossil structures posing more questions than we can answer. The last two teeth we know of do tell us that there's a strange happening in the evolutionary cycle in the late Triassic of Arizona. The tale behind these teeth takes us back to only 1946. Upon the discovery of one of these curved teeth by geologist G.E. Hazen, when it was passed along to a paleontologist, Edwin Colbert. Despite significant research, there was little to say until the discovery of the second tooth, with a striking resemblance to the first. Colbert became invested in this case once again, though was unaware of any group these teeth could belong to. Through the remainder of his life until 2001, Colbert kept these teeth as a focus of his studies. Some progress was seen in 1995 with the publication of a research paper in which paleontologists Robert Long and Philip Murray suggested these teeth were those of proto-mammals. This was largely dismissed due to the lack of research supporting this analysis. Shortly after, a disappointing revelation confirmed that the first tooth found was merely a cast, with no indication as to the location of the original. With only one genuine specimen to work with, research would become more difficult. Nonetheless, definitive conclusions have been drawn that we in fact have a tooth fossil, evidenced through the enamel and root. Beyond this, however, is largely speculation. Placing these teeth with an animal is proving to be more of a complex task than anticipated, the only suggestion being that it belonged to a Craterokiridon, based off the size of the teeth. This is an umbrella term, encompassing the groups of mammals and reptiles. With only an indicator of size being provided by these teeth, we can't really draw many conclusions. Though fortunately it's most probable that a creature of this size will have been fossilized in one way or another. There are plenty of creatures that have walked this earth through our jungles before us, in the present, and who will continue to thrive into the next generation of humans. So what do you make of these mysterious jungle and forest discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.